The Gallagher Shots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to your match preview for the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. We're back for yet another away day. This time the lads are going down to London to go against a really struggling West Ham, shall we say. They've not started the season really well, so I think we're going to be pretty confident in this preview. I'm your host for this one, Joe, and joined with me are Daryl, Dean and Nichol. Lads, now I've spoken just there about West Ham's troubles, we'll see. They've been shocking at the moment, to be honest with you. They are, 17th in the table at the moment? Yeah. No, 19th in the table at the moment. They've only won one. They've won one, which was against Forest in the third game of the Premier League season. And yeah, funnily enough, that was when Nuno ended up getting pretty much getting his sack, didn't it? And funnily enough, how the tables turn, he has now ended up at West Ham. But since then, they've not really had a great time of it. They drew against Everton 1-1, but they've lost against the likes of Arsenal, Brentford. They're really struggling, to say the least. So I'm going to come with you first, Daryl. After Wednesday, and to be honest with you, after just the general few weeks we've had a really, really good run of form. And with a lot of the lads that have been rested on Wednesday, how are you feeling coming into this game? It's Sunday, it's a 2 p.m. kickoff, plenty of chance for the lads to rest. How are you feeling?
Quite confident, actually. Multitude of reasons as to why as well, by the way. You have to look at Wednesday's performance against Spurs. The rotation that we're now able to use in these competitions to switch around between Cup and League. I think we saw some of the lads who probably start on Sunday come on late on Wednesday night against Spurs to give us a full strength squad going into the game on Sunday. And also digging up a few sources and asking them, a good friend of mine's a West Ham supporter, so I've been asking him about it. And I'll give you some early quotes from him. He said that they would be the worst team that we will face this season and that Bowen is the main threat along with Paqueta if they show up on the day. It's funny, Joe, you've mentioned there about Nuno and how he's come into West Ham, and I think they've really struggled to try and adapt to him. He's obviously had a good few weeks to work with the team now, and there's not really seen much sign of improvement, and it doesn't help when... And this is going to sound like deja vu to a lot of the Newcastle fans who will be listening or watching this podcast. There's a lot of disharmony between the fans and the ownership. And we all know how that can end if it doesn't sort itself out and if they can't reconcile. So unfortunately for West Ham, they probably are going to be down there for the most of the season. But yeah, I mean, I also talked to you just before we started about how this is going to be potentially the perfect game to arrest our own shambolic away form this season, especially in the Premier League anyway. I really don't fancy seeing this one finish 0-0. So when we get to predictions later, we'll have some good news, hopefully.
I just on the back of that, Nichol, the old trope has been Dr. Newcastle will see you now. I will say that since Eddie Howe's come in over the last few years, we've kind of dispelled that a little bit. But, you do have to take these games with a bit of caution because a struggling Premier League team is something that we've come up against quite a few times in the past, and it's been a little bit of, come a little bit unstuck for us, shall we say, with maybe struggle to break teams down that have sat at a low block, and we kind of ran out of ideas, maybe a bit creatively in the final third. And I will say, if you think of the likes of Brighton, for instance, I know they didn't sit back too much, but at the same time, it's another away game where we did kind of struggle with them. Do you think West Ham are going to pose that same kind of threat to us? How do you see us maybe lining up in the front three and how we're going to actually break them down?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a banana skin one, this one, isn't it? It's like, it's a typical Newcastle thing that we've had a great week. We've had 3 wins in a row at home. We go away from home to a really struggling side, as we've said, and we're the team that they turn the season round on this game. So let's hope Dr. Newcastle is not on shift on Sunday, and let's hope that we can. Let's hope we just turn up on Sunday, do the job professionally. I'm saying this as if they're like a League Two team in the cup, but like we need to just go there. And
I mean, they're playing like one.
Yeah. I mean, if we go there, play our game, we'll be fine. That's what I think. If we play like we've played the last 3 games, we'll be all right and we'll win. And just going on the front 3, I think we'll see Gordon return. I think we'll see Murphy come back, and I think it will be Big Nick continuing up front. So I think it will just be a continuation from the last Premier League game.
Yeah. Dean, speaking of Dr. Newcastle, Lewis Hall sounds like he's recovering quite well, and there's a chance he might actually be featuring for West Ham. Now, I think it's fair to say that he wouldn't be starting this game, but question is, if he makes the bench, do you see him actually getting on the pitch at all? I mean, I suppose it depends on the game, doesn't it, how it's going?
Yeah, I think it does depend on the game. I think if we're up against this and we're 0-0, you might see him because he brings a bit more pace and a bit more creativity on the left-hand side, and he backs up Gordon quite well on the left-hand side. So you might see him then, but if we're winning comfortably, you'll not feature, because what's the point in risking him straight away? I mean, we've seen before. Can you remember the Arsenal game a couple of years ago when Murphy came back from like dislocated shoulder and knocked it again? You know what I mean? There's no point rushing him back because we're going to need him. And like I say, Dan Burn's been fantastic at left back. He has had some good performances recently. So for me, I could only see him featuring if we're up against it and we're like 1-0 down or it's 0-0. I need a bit extra creativity on the left-hand side. But other than that, I can't see him featuring in this game, if I'm honest.
Right. In terms of rotation, Dean, I'll stick with you. In terms of rotation, because we saw quite a lot of the lads get a bit of a rest on Wednesday. I know they came on, quite a few of the lads you'd expect to start on Sunday came on for like the last sort of 20 minutes or so just to see the game out against Spurs. But obviously, like so Bruno, Joe Linton, they've had a rest now and they're looking like they should be pretty much in good form for starting on Sunday. I do have to talk about the Jacob Ramsey situation. And I say it's a situation because he's done so well. And we've had conversations in previous previews how he should arguably be starting against a Joe Linton, especially in a side where we're going to be having more possession. We're going to be driving forward, trying to unlock defenses. You'd probably think, if you put money on it, you'd probably think Joe Linton would start. But do you think we're going to see Ramsey getting a lot more minutes in this game and obviously in games to come? I think you've also got to probably think about the fact that we're going to be having Bilbao in midweek next week as well, which, again, who'd you start on that? So, I mean, do you think Ramsey's going to be probably on the bench for that, maybe half an hour in? What do you reckon?
Probably not blown anyhow. We will start Joe Linton, and I can see why, because like this is the ideal game for Joe Linton to like bully people in midfield. It's what he does best. It's his bread and butter. But for me, Ramsey will play this game at some point in the game, whether it's like we're up against the Kosh again or just get some minutes in his legs, because let's be honest, Jacob Ramsey is the long-term replacement for Joe Linton and Willock. Even I can't believe how good he actually is, because I didn't watch much of it. I knew he was a good player, but since I've seen him actually playing a black and white shirt, Christ, he's amazing. Like I genuinely think he's going to be one of the best players we've got. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an England call up from this season, if I'm honest with you, because he's that good, and you can see how good he is with the ball. He just has so much energy, and I think for me, he's ideal for us. And I think he definitely feature, but I can't see him starting with Joe Linton in this game just because Joe Linton is his bread and butter. He'll bully in midfield, especially with them being low in confidence as well. You know, Joe Linton's like, he'll just start push them over and kick them out. I mean, that's what Joe Linton does best. So you'll make sure one gets sent off.
That's a good point. Just ride them all players like he was on Wednesday.
I didn't want to say that. Like I didn't think he was going to book a Bronco with them again. Like, but he probably will. You know what I mean? I could see him quite a class because I think he gets jealous of him and Bruno as being best mates. You know what I mean? So I could see them just like having a little spat on the pitch. Yeah,
Joe Linton's just one tackle away from being a meme for the week, isn't he, on Twitter? He's brilliant. Yeah. Daryl, I want to talk about the centre of defence because obviously Cher came in for Botman on Wednesday, which was to be expected given that Botman did get a head injury, but it wasn't a concussion. Mm-hmm. Is it a case of Botman should come straight back in now because Cher's played the entirety of that game on Wednesday?
Do you know what it is? The centre-half partnership's probably the biggest headache that Eddie Howe's going to have in the next week or so because... Well, exactly, yeah. And, Fabian Schär did come in and he played well and he scored a goal on Wednesday, which is an important thing to consider. Because as much as the partnership of Chow and Botman has been absolutely fantastic, and we've all raved about it on our podcasts on the channel, it hasn't produced a goal, whereas Fabian Schär's come up with a goal to add to their prowess. I think Malik Chow has played his way. It is, for me, the longer Malik Chow can play, and if he has to play consecutive games, a game every 3 days or whatever, so long as he can keep going, I'd keep him in there, because he's just absolutely amazing. He's fantastic. I think he's arguably played himself into being the best centre back we have.
I agree.
He's been that good.
I think it's
and there was a moment at the end of the Fulham game after Fabian Schär had come on where, and I think me and Scott were talking about this up in the Leazes corner, and they complemented each other really well. Schär was able to sit back a bit, and Chow, at the end of that Fulham game when we were chasing the win, I don't think I've ever seen a centre-half performance where he can read the game and just pounce on a ball when the other team are trying to break out and counter against us. And he was able to step forward out of the back line and he was intercepting and he was winning balls like on the edge of the Fulham penalty box. That was amazing to see. And it paid dividends in the end. So for me, I think in terms of the partnership, I think for this one, I'd probably stick with Schär and Botman. But again, I just would not Botman, Schär and Chow. I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie did make that change because the rotation is there and the options there for him to use it as well. And just to mention, obviously, alongside the centre halves, I think Dan Burn will stay at left back and Trippier will come back in at right back.
Oh, I think it's probably fair to say if that's the case. Yeah, go on, Dean.
I was going to say, do you not think like when Fabian Schär doesn't play, do you not think we'll miss that like directness from him, like when he pins the balls and up front? I mean, we miss that a lot. He's quite direct, Schär. And I don't get wrong, I think Botman's mid, but I just don't think we'll have that with Botman and Chow when Schär's not playing, because Schär can just pin a ball out of nowhere. We've seen him do it before. I think we do miss that. So it's a hard one, like you said. It's a hard one.
Chow has the option as well. We saw it in the first half against Spurs on Wednesday. He played an amazing ball into the feet of who was it he played it into? He played it into somebody who then pushed it into the box, and we had a chance. And that was such a good pass because it went through bodies as well. By the way, he managed to thread it through a load of bodies to get there. And I'd like to see that. And obviously, like we just mentioned, we know what Fabian Schär can do. And I think, to be honest, I think Anthony Gordon and the wingers will benefit from having him in the team to release balls like that for them down the wings.
Now, one thing about Malik Chow and also to an extent Voltemada as well is they've played pretty much every single minute of every game over the last few weeks, both midweek and at the weekend. Nichol, I mean, Dean spoke about this in the preview for Spurs, and I think it's still very, especially after the Spurs game, it's still a very valid comment to make. Are we at risk, do you think, Nichol, of burning out certain players by playing them too much? And I appreciate Voltemada, it's almost a needs must at this point, whilst waiting for Visser to get back to fitness. But there is that thought in the back of your mind of, could we be asking a bit too much of certain players here?
Yeah, I think that we've got that worry. I think, like you said, though, I think at the moment it is needs must, especially in the Premier League. I think he has to start. I think the ideal situation is we're at least 2 goals up by the sort of 60th, 70th minute, and you can take him off and bring Big Willie on.
Yeah, Big Willie. As he has now been coined, along with Big V and Big Willie.
Get him to do he's chasing about and knocking into players and doing his dubs in the chat. You know, everything he does, he's mental, man. I love him. But that's the ideal situation. But I think until you get Wisser back, and it's probably looking like, funnily enough, they've said maybe Bilbao, but I think he's come back off the bench against Brentford away, which will be like interesting to see anyway.
Right.
So, I think for the next week and a half, you're gonna have to just hope that Big V can get through it all, I guess. And then, like I've said, the ideal situation, bring him off after an hour if you can, and go from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with you there. Like, I think he's in such good form. He's absolutely mint. I've never known I don't even think he who shall not be named had a run of form this good this early on in his career. He's got 6 goals for us now in all competitions. It's just like a perfect start. And once again, he's a player that everyone said he doesn't score with his head. He doesn't really use his head that much. And I will say, I mean, to be fair, the German league is different from the Premier League. The ball's in the air a lot more. And to be honest, centre backs are probably a lot taller on average. So you'd probably expect we need to ping a few more big, long balls into the box. And plus, the German league doesn't have Jacob Murphy. Or Joe Willock, as we saw. So
yeah, I actually watched back after the game on Wednesday. I watched back the ITV post-match analysis, and Andy Cole and Les Ferdinand were waxing lyrical about him. They were just saying how good he is. They've never seen a player like that with, like that size, use his feet like that and link up play. And they again said that it was funny because even the TV would say the guy they had before up front. They wouldn't even use his name. They would just say the guy they had before up front. He couldn't do that, could he? So they just kept saying that. But he's gone there to win everything. He's not going to win the Carabao Cup this season, is he? So.
He's winning now, Nichol. He's winning now. Because tell you why, he's not going to play. He's not going to play because I was injured. He's winning now.
Well, I'm pretty sure you have to get at least 6 Premier League appearances to qualify for a medal. So even if they won the league, I'm not sure at this rate he's even going to make a Premier League medal. Chiesa will probably get above him. But anyway, we're moving on because we're not going to dwell on that. Because why would we? Because we've got a fantastic 6'7" German who just loves to bang him in.
Speaking of strikers, that's doing the round, Joe. That famous picture. We invested in better.
Yeah, did invest in better. You're absolutely right. But speaking of strikers, one that we did let go in the summer, the other one, Callum Wilson, one that left on slightly better terms, we'll see. Obviously, joined West Ham in the summer. He's not started every game. He seems to be mainly coming off the bench against Leeds. Their last game, they had Piquet start up front. Callum Wilson came on later on in the game. I'm not sure how many goals he's got for them so far, but I know he has scored at least 1 or 2. But obviously, he is a one. He is a threat, and when he is fit, he is a poacher. I think between him and Wan-Bissaka, especially with Dan Burn being at left back, we just need to be a bit cautious. I think. I'm not saying Callum Wilson's going to start, and we'll see what happens. But Wan-Bissaka against Burn is a threat. I think Burn has been a lot more adventurous in recent games, going up towards the byline a bit more and looking make more overlapping runs. I think on Wednesday, there were so many times where I saw him just cutting about. In fact, even like at the last 2 or 3 games, there's definitely been at least one occasion where I've watched it and I went, why the hell is Dan Burn up front? What's he doing? And that's not from a corner. That's just a random phase of play because he just seems to be making these burst of runs, which is both really encouraging and absolutely terrifying at the same time. But
he put some decent crosses in last night.
He
did. He did. Aye.
That first one he did, honestly, I nearly spat my tea out. I thought, who the freaking hell is this? Honestly, just the ball.
Oh, it's so the cross was so good. That's just broken Dean's internet connection. Sorry, Dean, you're back.
You shocked us, absolutely shocked us, man. But like I say, Dan Burn, I think what I like the minute with Dan Burn is that new system we've got with Pope where he pins the ball up front and Dan Burn's up there heading it down for Gordon. Some of that actually it works out quite well. But
fantastic. Yeah. No, it's a good point to make because a couple of years ago when Dan Burn was left back for us during the 22-23 campaign, there were criticisms that he was really good defensively, but typically almost all of our attack would come from that right side with Trippier bombing forward with Mickey, and then you would essentially have Burn almost going into a back 3 with what was Botman and Cher at the time. So it's good that we're seeing him have a bit of confidence to go a bit more forward because all that does is going to give our left winger, most likely Gordon, more options and allow him to cut inside a bit more. And we saw it on Wednesday, and I think it's just good to see more direct balls into the box for Voltemada, and that's all we need. Is there anything else you want to say on our lineup, boys? Because I mean, Voltemada, I mean, we can speak about Tonali, but Jesus, he's just incredible. I don't think there's much more to say about him. It feels like
He's
the
like
bar
a
with him
Duracell
is...
bunny. He'll just keep going until he runs out of battery.
It's incredible, isn't it? The bar with him is so high right now that we could wax lyrical, we could say so many superlatives, we could just say whatever we want about him, but at the end of the day, he is one of the best midfielders, if not one of the best players I think we've ever seen in a black and white shirt. And the fact that he's staying fit, touch wood, and he's able to last so many minutes is such a blessing for us to have in that midfield, especially when we are, to be fair, I mean, all the midfielders are class, but, you know, when even one of the lads dips in form, you can trust Tonali to come in and just help out and be that absolute engine that we've needed, which has been absolutely fantastic for us. Last thing I want to say is on Voltemada specifically in terms of how he's going to deal with the deep line defence. Do you think we're going to continue to see him come deep in that link-up play and try to bring more of the lads into the play? Because that's what he's done, and it's been really good. I don't know. I think maybe a little bit of criticism that he should be just getting into the box more and driving that back line further back. But do you think he's doing well as he is, Daryl?
Well,
I think he's doing quite well with it. But I sort of agree as well. I'd like to see him collect the ball, bring the players around him into play. But we have seen it recently. We still need to see him making a run into he needs to be busting a gut to get in the box once he's done that. And at times we haven't seen it, and then you have to start relying on everybody else to get in there. But with a lad with his height advantage and all that, I would like to see him. I think it would almost round his game off completely if he could just get that ability to dart into the box once he's brought his teammates into play.
Anything else from you, Nichol? Dean, you want to add? Are you happy with that?
No, I think what he said's right. I mean, it is hard for him, I guess, to do both things because we're asking him to link up and then also get in the box. But yeah, I mean, we can't really ask a lot more of what he's doing. I mean, he's coming to a new country, new league. I mean, he's smashing it. To be fair, like what he's doing, fair play to him. He's coming in. The pressure that was on him when he at the start, and he hasn't had Wissa, who's got Premier League experience to fall back on and sort of take the weight a little bit. He's had to do it on his own. So, I mean, imagine when we get Wissa back, what we're going to be like when we get him back as well.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Nightmare.
Like,
nightmare for every team.
We might get him back and he won't be able to get in the team straight away because, you know, Nick's not going to want to say, all right, well, I'll sit on the bench now you're back. Well, so
exactly, because he's got a World Cup to play for. I mean, he wants to go to Germany. He wants to go to the World Cup. So he's going to, in my opinion, he can't do much more in my eyes. I think he's doing a lot. I think for me, we need to put more chances in the box for him and create more chances for him, not just from like the winners, but also the midfield as well. Give him more chances to get off. Like yesterday, Willock came up that mean cross. You know what I mean? Just give him more, feed him more, and to give him some more support. Because sometimes I find with him, Big V, he's like isolated quite a lot by himself up front. And he's got no support. I think we just need to get bodies around him as much as possibly can because you get the ball, but like when he's got like 5 defenders on him, he's going to lose eventually. So you're just going to have to give a bit more support. I think that's the only thing I'd say.
Yeah. I think defenders are kind of clicking on to him a bit, aren't they? They're trying to get a lot more close to him than maybe in his first couple of games. I remember against Brighton. No, was it Brighton? Yeah, Brighton.
Fulham were trying to take his top off.
Fulham were trying to take the top off. Brighton, they were pressing Voltemada pretty much from 30 yards out. There was always a centre-back that was just ready to come and press him and try and stop him from making that link-up play. They were failing a lot of the time because he's absolutely mint. But anyway, right. Now, before we get on to Ref Watch, I'm going to divert slightly and I want to just talk a little bit about our Instagram because it's been pretty busy over the last week or so. You might have seen that we've been doing a lot more content on it. And one of the things that we have been doing is Battle of the Kits, which was a series that the All Smiling Faces lads did back during COVID times, and we've brought it back and we're doing a tournament edition where all the lads are getting involved and doing head-to-heads. Now, we're currently in the semi-finals for this, and our very own Dean, who's here, is currently neck and neck with Scott. Just want to ask you, lads, and I'll start with you, Dean, since you're in the semi-final. How are you enjoying the tournament so far? It's quite interesting because we're doing it on a specific category, aren't we? This week is Wonga week, all stuff to do with Wonga, which is up and down, we'll see. But there's been some nice kits in there, actually. So how are you feeling, Dean? Do you think you're confident in making the final?
I hope so. I am trying to be more confident with but I see because Scott keeps changing all the time. We keep overlapping each other for the votes, so I'm a bit nervous at the minute. But I'm there. I feel like I've got a good chance to get the final. I think my kit is beautiful. It's a members kit that was limited edition. I've been trying to buy for years. So personally, I feel like I'm all right, lads. I think it's a race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm nearly there.
What longer Jimmy
Well,
will be
absolutely. In some ways, though, it is a sprint because each round there's only 24 hours to vote on our story. And by the time this preview comes out, we will know the outcome of that and we'll probably be in the middle of the final. So if you haven't seen it already, get checking our Instagram at Gallagher_shots. Please follow us while you're at it and take part in the vote because this is going to be far from the last one that we do. We're going to be doing plenty more of them as the season goes on. Right. Daryl, take it away with Ref Watch, mate. Who's going to be the man in the middle?
So, referee for the game on Sunday will be Merseyside's own Robert Jones. It's his second Newcastle game of the season. He oversaw our 0-0 draw away at Bournemouth on match day number 5, which I also believe he didn't give a foul for one of the most blatant shirt pulls you'll ever see in your life. Funnily enough, on Big V. It's his 6th Premier League game of the season as well. He's going to be assisted on the VAR by a chap called Paul Howard. Paul Howard is actually an EFL referee, but he's been used a lot on VAR in the Premier League this season. So much so that this is actually going to be his 7th VAR appointment, which I think will put him amongst the top appearances on VAR for any official in the league this season.
Thank you very much.
No rant, Daryl. No rant about referee. No rant about that one. No kicking off.
Happy.
No. Actually, as we record today,
Oh, here we go.
No, this isn't a rant. It's not a rant this time. So as I was sent this earlier today by my good mate Paul, and as we record today, a year ago today, we beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, and the referee was Chris Kavanagh, who was referee last night. So another London club, a year on, beat them 2-0.
There you go.
It's written in the skies, boys. It's written in the skies.
Back to
It's
back
one of them
trophies.
stellar drone shows.
It is.
Anyway, we are going to move on to the predictions. Nichol, I'll start with you, mate. How are you feeling?
Ooh.
What do you think?
Feeling confident. I think you've got to after three wins in a week. Why not? I mean, I don't think we've spoke like much about the West Ham sort of threat that they can bring, maybe because there isn't that much of it. But I think sorry, this is going to come back to haunt us. We're going to get
it is, isn't it?
I think the only one I'm worried about would be Jared Bowen. I think he's a great player, and I think he's carried West Ham for like the last, sort of 2 seasons. So, yeah, I think that's where the only threat I can really see coming from. I would say that it's like a hard place to go to, and the crowd will get behind them, but the crowd are kind of not really getting behind the team that much at the moment. Any time I've seen West Ham this season, there's been loads of empty seats because I think they're doing like what we used to do, so sort of half protest, half some people turning up. So, Anyway, the prediction, I'm going 1-3 to Newcastle.
Nice.
And we'll give Jared Bowen a goal. If he's in anyone's fantasy team, he can have the point. And we'll go 2 for Big V and 1 for Tonali.
Nice.
Happy days. Daryl?
Well, Nichol nearly stole me thunder there because I was going to go with 3-1 as well. However, I'm going to say that we'll manage to shut them out. And Nichol makes a great point about the threat from Bowen, but I also do have a bit of worry about what Kudus can do on the other side of the pitch. And also, Paqueta can be a bit of a tricky customer.
I was going to say,
I
was Wednesday, mate.
Didn't panic.
I was Wednesday.
Kudus for Judas. We didn't see him on Wednesday. It's fine. Okay, scrap that. 3-0.
Oh, we did in the last 5 minutes. Yeah.
He's the one that Joe Linton cutting off.
Aye, that's right. 3-0 to the Town. Big V, Tonali, and I do fancy at last Malik Chow to get on the score sheet. Come on.
Nice.
Do you know what I reckon Shearer's going to score for us, Daryl?
No, Callum Wilson.
For which team?
No, neither.
Right.
Fine. One goal.
Dean, go on, mate.
Right, I'm going to keep it positive, lads, but I'm going to reckon 3-0 West Ham, Callum Wilson hat-trick. That's what I reckon. I reckon it's going to be, I'm going to say 2-0, and I'm going to say Big V on a brace. 2-0 Newcastle.
I think that's fair.
Nice.
I think that's fair.
How are you, Joe?
I actually should have started this show by making a public apology because I said that we were going to lose against Spurs last night, and normally I'm really normally, hang on, let me see my piece. I'm normally very optimistic on these, and for some reason, I shouldn't have ever doubted Eddie Howe's Carabao Cup winning marks because we are unbelievable. I know this is a different kettle of fish. I know it's the Premier League, but I reckon, despite the fact that we have a bit of a dodgy away form, I think that this is the perfect time to see us correct it. And I'm going to say that we actually go as far as a 4-0 win.
Wow.
Yep.
2 for Voltemada, 1 for Barnes, and 1 for Bruno.
There we go. Take that.
Nice.
19 celebrations.
And 19 celebrations later, and we pack up and we set off nicely for what is going to be a home tie against Bilbao midweek, which we're going to be having another preview for that. Nice little segue. So stay subscribed for that and become a member if you haven't already. Subscribing's free. Membership is in, but it's only $2.99, and you get early access to loads of videos like this one, as well as access to the Telegram group full of like-minded Newcastle fans. And we're going to end it there because I think we've said all we need to say on this. Thank you, lads, for joining me. I have been your host, Joe, for this one, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, lads and lasses.
Bye.